What's up, everybody? Bass Curtis, Ohio's finest outdoors. To my left, got my little cuz Crenshaw chasing Ohio's Giants. To my right, the one and only Greg Norris Jr. chasing Ohio's Giants. Man, we've been trying to do this video for at least 8 months, and now we're all together. I appreciate you guys coming out, man, taking time out of your busy schedule. But we're gonna jump right into it. A name like Chasing Ohio Giants, and if you can see, they got their own logo now, their own gear. I'm so proud of them. Man, how did that come about?
It's just been a passion I've had since I was a young kid, man. I just love to catch giant fish. That's basically where it all started.
Chasing Ohio's Giants. It doesn't say Chasing Ohio Bass. You guys were very specific. Ohio Giants.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. Like you said, we've been doing this since we was old enough to hold a fishing pole, and we love to do it. We know we can catch high numbers of bass any day of the week, but we like doing it for our fans and for ourselves to get that adrenaline rush.
Man, that's good stuff. And I know you guys inspired me to get on my game as far as YouTube. You guys started a YouTube channel last year, and it's starting to grow and gain some momentum.
Yeah, it's definitely the key, and we really wanted to make it because Junior said it's good to have them on the wall, but 20 years from now, we want to be able to get on the internet and watch them and let the whole world see what we do.
And I just love the fact that this has been a passion of y'all's, and y'all's not just settling for status quo or on a standstill. You guys are pushing the envelope to go to higher standards. You guys hold yourself to a higher standard now. You guys have goals. And speaking of goals, we're going into a new year, 2023. What's some goals for Chasing Ohio's Giants?
Well, the goal is to definitely chase the Giants, but we're trying to be more marketable. We want to get out to our fans and interact more with them. Maybe like a couple giveaways, stuff in that nature.
What about you, Junior?
Well, I'm still chasing the old elusive double digit. We're working on that one. That's one thing for sure, but I just enjoy the outdoors and getting out with kids, man, and just basically enjoying life. It's the only thing that keeps me out of trouble, so it's just part of it, man, part of the passion.
Absolutely. And I know that last year during our first Hooked on Fishing event, I know Crenshaw came out and helped, and we're approaching our second Hooked on Fishing event, and shout out to everyone who contributed last year to make that happen, and a shout out to everyone who's already contributed this year, and our numbers this year are even going to be bigger than what it was last year, and last year we had an amazing turnout, so shout out to all those community members to make that happen. But with that being said, one of my goals this year is to get more kids hooked on fishing. I took a few out last year that's never had that experience, and they loved it, and they continue to contact me like, hey, when we going out, when they didn't realize one of my other jobs was taking people fishing. So I know that Crenshaw and Junior has mentioned also not only getting their name out, but getting kids hooked on fishing.
Yeah, that's the best part about it is seeing the kids smile, man. I got to get my daughter her first 5-pounder. That's one of the goals this year, too.
That's on tape, Aaliyah. I'm a witness, Aaliyah. So when you watch this, one of his goals is to get you a 5-pounder. So I'm going to be on this behind to get you out.
8's the lucky year. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. What about that lucky year?
It's the year I've been hooked ever since. 8 years, April the 12th.
April the 12th. Man, what year was that?
I want to say 2001.
2001. And it's crazy. No. It's crazy that we can remember those specific dates because those are special moments for us. Like you could just rattle it off right now. Boom.
I'll tell everybody today, you'll never forget your first 5-pound catch. Whether you catch a 10-pounder or a 20-pounder, when you get your first 5, you'll remember it the rest of your life.
You probably remember what the weather was like, what time of the day, all that good stuff. Your little secret spot.
In the middle of a snowstorm, hooked on a snag, my dad said.
Man, it's times like that, man, that you sit back and you think. Because I remember as kids, like all 3 of us, and I probably led the pack because y'all was littler at that time, but we would sneak down to the creek, the mouth of the creek that led in to the river. And I'm not kidding, we was happy just to have a stick with a string tied on it, and we'd sneak a can of corn from someone's house, and we would catch carp. Like, man, those times were, man, those were some of the best times ever down at the mouth of that creek, and we became addicted, and I'm so glad we became addicted because you heard Junior say it's kept us out of trouble. I can't speak for them, honestly, but for me, it really has kept me out of trouble, and that's what I talked about last year during Hooked on Fishing is how your dad, if it wasn't for him, he's the one that had the vehicle. He was into fishing, and he had me out at an early age. But fishing, man, saved my life. I truly believe that. Because there's a lot of other things that I could have been doing, but I was hooked.
Right.
Hooked.
And it's good to go back to them where it first started. Me and Junior made a video this year. We got to get it cooked up and posted, but we went back down to the creek with our experience and had real fun this time because we wasn't begging our uncles for little twister tails, getting cussed out and stuff like that. We was ready for the gotcha.
Me and this guy got in trouble when we were 6, 7 years old for standing on the wide bridge. We seen everybody in town.
Greg Jr., is that you? I'm telling your dad.
3 aunts and an uncle. We was in trouble by the time we got back to the house.
And even though you guys got in trouble when you got back, honestly, all you wanted to do was fish.
That's it.
You wasn't out doing anything illegal. You wasn't out smoking, drinking, any of that, trying to party. You guys were wanting to fish. But it was a no-no at 6 and 7 years old. You better not be at Tap River.
Right.
I never forget when Chad Hartman, my brother, and it was me, we had snuck down to the river. One thing we did was, because mom was a little crazy. She had gangster in her, which your dad had that in him too, but we were in my room, and I told my brother, I'm going to drop the fishing poles from the, I was on the 2nd floor, so I'm going to drop the fishing poles down on the side of the house, and he caught him, and my friend caught him, and we ran around to our neighbor's house and put him, and we just told mom we was going for a bike ride. So she thought we was on a bike, but we took a bike ride with our fishing poles attached, and we was down at the Y Bridge Dam, right below it, so she couldn't see. And we were going longer than we should have been. I knew it. And that out of nowhere, all you could hear was beep, beep, beep. I ain't gonna say what she was saying, but get your behind up here. You got 2 minutes to get up here, or I'm coming down there. And I looked at my friend. He was like, hey, you got to get up there, man. And honestly, I was embarrassed. Like, man, I should be able to be down here fishing. I ain't doing nothing. But, like, nope, let me take this one for the team. So I had to get up there and got my little spanking, smacked around a little bit. But that's something I never forget. Mom came down to the river. Get up here right now.
Yeah, man, them was the good old days. Do anything to wet a line.
That's for sure. Even if it was sneaking in his tackle box
Hey.
to get a couple baits.
I remember when I first started buying baits, I didn't have much. And I got in there, kept myself organized. I was like, Uncle Joe was like, hey, Saul, was he in your bag? I said, hey, Uncle Joe, man, I know for a fact. I know for a fact I got some stuff missing.
They got a train, you need baits. I'm good. Over here.
Good.
Hey, he'd be over my house like, hey, Crane, you been at restroom a long time. He done got into the grab bag, goodie bag. But no, man, That's why we're here, man. Just think that love for fishing has been since we were kids. And like you said, it hasn't stopped, and we're trying now to push that passion, instill that passion on other kids. Because there's a recent study out that shows kids who get involved in the outdoors, whether it's hunting, fishing, mushroom hunting, trapping, anything like that, hiking, are less likely to get into trouble once they're in their teenage years. And it used to be sports was the big thing. Kids who get in sports are less likely to get in trouble. There's a new study that the outdoors, man, you get kids in the outdoors and they're less likely to get into trouble. So again, that's why one of the goals is to get more and more kids involved.
Right.
23, man, 2022 came, it went, and let me tell you, because we're going to get into our most memorable moments of 2022. 2022 was a record year for me. It just seemed like it was every day was that magical day for me. Now, it didn't happen like that, but it seemed like that. And to the followers, it seemed like that because once a week, I was catching 1 over 5 pounds. And at the end of the year, I always do my totals. And it was 28 fish over 5 pounds here in the state of Ohio. Some public, a lot of it was private. But 28 over 5 pounds. So when we talk about memorable moments, that whole year to moment. And obviously, I want you guys to check out Hogzilla. If you haven't checked it out, Ohio's Finest Outdoors on the YouTube page. But Hogzilla. But other than that, for me, it would have been, I took the winner of Hooked on Fishing. We had a grand prize winner that got to go fishing with me out at the wilds. And I'm telling you, he had the time of his life out there. It was. So that sticks out. And the last one for me would be our uncle had passed away. And he always joked with us about catching big ones, and why don't we bring him fish back? And I know he was always on Cran, give me some fish, man, so I can fry him up because he loved fish. But we had his funeral, and the very next day, I was still down in the dumps. And again, when I'm down in the dumps, one of my favorite things to do is be in the outdoors, and that's my medication, that's my therapy. The outdoors gives me a healing. So obviously, I go fishing. And I told myself on the way down that I'm going to catch a bass in memory of my Uncle Fid. And sure enough, like he was with me that day, sure enough, I catch a giant. And that video is also out. So those were memorable moments for me this year. So for 2022, what's some memorable moments, Crenshaw?
All of them was good memories for me, man. Just to get on the water and release all that stress, and whatever I take on the water, I leave it on the water. I don't know, one of our other members of Chasing Ohio Giant, Seth, he got permission for us to fish this pond we've been sneaking into for years. And it felt good just to be there with not looking over your shoulder and all that stuff. So the first day sitting in there relaxing, I caught 5 over 5 in one day. So that was probably my most memorable moments, because when I caught 1 5, Junior caught a 5, and then Seth caught a 5, and we got a group picture, all 3 of us holding 5s before we even got to release them. So that was probably my most memorable moment.
And I told them I ain't sneaking into any ponds, but they had written permission this year. And how many times was I out there with y'all? They couldn't even hook they couldn't even hook a brother up.
I'll say, hey, we don't got the permission.
Yeah, they couldn't even. They got permission. I'm not sneaking in any ponds, but they had the written permission. Chasing Ohio's Giants, man, they was doing it big. They was like, nah, cuz ain't getting in this one. Nah, Junior, what's up with you? Memorable moments for 2022.
Man, I love them all, just like he said, but I really enjoy just fishing with my daughter now, man. I love catching big fish, and it's all fun, but I think getting her interested in the sport I love so much is more important than anything.
Don't it just do your heart like some good? Because my kids, they're not really big into fishing, but we were out a few times, and I remember when Breely was 5, she caught her first mounter fish, and yes, I did mount it, and it's on her bedroom wall still to this day. And Judah's the only one in our family that doesn't have one over 5, and he was fishing this year, and he picked his own bait out too. He picked a bait out I wouldn't even use this time of the year, and he threw it out there, and I never forget that pole being buckled over, and I saw that string rising, and it jumped up, shook its head, and it was well over 5 pounds, but it got the best of Judah, and it spit his bait, and still to this day, I'll be like, Judah, tell people about that fish. He's like, that fish was...
I had him.
That fish was that big, and I had him. But yes, getting kids, man, your kids, man, that means the world to you, and seeing them out there.
That's what I honestly wish I would have started with the camera when the excitement was all about fishing. There's a lot that goes into it now, but that's when I feel like that's when you get the best recordings. That's what I told my buddy, that he just started fishing, so it's still brand new to him, and you get to see it. That's how we used to be yelling and stuff when we would catch one.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Junior had the vision a long time ago, before the Guggen Squad and all the big names started recording, and he had the vision, but we got a little distracted. But we might be a little late to the party, but y'all's definitely gonna know we was here.
Absolutely, man.
That's for
and
sure.
I'm serious. I saw, honestly, when you guys started recording, and I'm watching it on TV, and then my daughter, still to this day, my videos aren't her favorite. The video you was with me, and you did back-to-back doubles, back-to-back casts, that's her favorite video.
You still get a little excitement.
Yeah, Greggy, just his sense of humor is, man, out of this world, and I love it. And my daughter, she was like, Dad, that's my favorite video. So I continued watching you guys' videos, and it was raw, it was uncut, it was authentic, and I'm watching them, and I'm like, and Greggy was like, man, you're tripping, because 23 years ago, I had a heck of a year, and he said, man, you should have, what are you doing? Take your GoPro. And then I bought a GoPro, and I wasn't even taking it. And it wasn't really until last year I took it every single time, and I listened to you. But there's nothing like you said. You can look around this room, and now I have a graphic designer that will compile my fish and then put them on a poster. So I have them all around this bass lab. But there's nothing like watching those videos and that excitement,
Right. Like
on TV, on YouTube.
Like my old lady gets so mad at me because she'll walk past my laptop or catch me in my little room watching my TV show. She be like, "What are you doing? Why you keep watching your own videos?" I'm like, "This is my video.
Yeah.
What do you mean?"
Are for me,
I always-
so everybody else can watch it. That's what
I said, ever since me and Junior been little, playing bass fishing on a Nintendo, catching 1-pounders, talking about, look, we got a 100-pounder. It's all used to play
Super
with this.
Nintendo. Super Nintendo.
We would
Yeah.
be like, we're gonna be on TV one day, and if we don't get lucky enough to get put on there by someone, we're definitely gonna put ourselves on the big screen.
And that's why I need you guys to get on Chasing Ohio's Giants, like and subscribe to their videos. They got a lot of good content, and they got more content that will be coming out this year. And I know I've had these guys in a lot of my videos because, and I'm glad that you guys branched out, because honestly, you guys will always be a part of Ohio's finest. And I know y'all rock hats, y'all be rocking gear, but y'all was like, man, and I get it.
We're a fishing family.
I wanted y'all to do your own thing. And guess what? I'm going to promote that Chasing Ohio's Giants. So back to Chasing Ohio's Giants. If you're focused on Giants, tell the viewers your 2 favorite baits. Here's what we'd do. 2 favorite baits, let's say springtime, and let's say 2 favorite baits summer, and then 2 favorite baits fall. We'd just leave it at that.
Well,
Crenshaw, you can go further.
I'll let Junior
Oh,
go
okay.
first,
All right,
so
Junior.
I ain't using his
2 favorite baits, spring, fall, and summer.
I don't know, man. Springtime, I'd probably have to go with the old rattle trap.
He's lying. No, I'm messing with you. He's just telling y'all that so you don't go throw what he's throwing. No, I'm messing with you.
I say rattle trap, and then I go with chigger crawl.
Okay.
Spring. Summertime, probably be a fluke. Maybe a 10-inch worm in the summer.
Okay.
In the fall, I'd probably go trap again and sprinkle the old jig in there.
Sprinkle that jig. I was waiting on Junior to say jig because there ain't nothing like that thump on that jig. I don't care what time of the year you're fishing it.
For sure. The jig will always catch them. It don't matter who you talk to. If they don't have the experience on the jig, they don't have too many experiences bass fishing.
Love it. And I have fished with Junior a lot of times, so he is telling the truth about those baits. So hopefully you guys heard what he said. You've seen his content, his videos. You've seen photos of him all over. Those fish are being caught on the baits he just talked about. Crenshaw, what's up, big dog?
And to be honest,
Here we go.
I don't even
If someone starts off with, to be honest, you know they're following it up with some BS. To be honest, you know, I don't
I
want
use trick
to.
chugs.
Man, you
and
was
bobbers.
already on here talking about a video. Mark Daniels Jr. hooked up with a $40 jackhammer, dog.
Jackhammer. He said it. Jackhammer all day. Is what I've been throwing the last 3 years, and I caught all my big bass on it.
Shout out to MDJ.
Yeah, he's a role model, and we look up to him. Keep doing your thing, dog.
What else, man? You just ain't throwing that, man. Stop it.
That's what I throw. Jackhammer.
Okay.
All right. I like throwing tube bait.
Okay. Hey, that two bait, you already know.
No.
If I had one bait to pick all year, yeah, jig has produced, and I talked about 28 bass this year. I always do a breakdown, and out of those 28 bass, 13 of them were caught on a jig. And I recall, well, I was with y'all one time, and Crenshaw was smoking me with the jackhammer. Like, hey, ain't you going to switch? Ain't you going to switch? And I'm throwing Old Faithful, and I was like, you do you, and I'm going to do me. And I found a school of them, and they stopped hitting that jackhammer, and it was like, don't fish, don't fish, don't fish. And earlier in the spring, I was with my dude, Bacola, and he's done caught a 5-pounder and a 4.5-pounder, and he's done spinner baits, cranking them. And he was like, Curtis, man, you want to switch? And I said, no. Because I know eventually that jig's going to get in front of that big mama, and she's going to boom, thump it.
It's all about the confidence.
And for 3 hours that day with Bacola, I never got a bite. 3 hours. And most people would be like, man, okay, I'm going to switch. He was like, he hollered across the lake and said, you still got that jig on? He was like, you believe in that jig, don't you? Something to that nature. And I said, yes. And one of the videos this year, I catch a donkey. I mean, fat, not even, this wasn't Hogzilla, this was another giant. And Bacola was like, man, you was confident and stuck with that jig. We take pictures, release it. Not even 10 minutes later, I set the hook, and I'm like, another giant. It was my double this year. I had 2 big ones, and it happened within a 15-minute period. However, 3 hours I fished that jig without a bite, and then boom, boom.
Right. And that's another thing, like, when you get that confidence with a certain bait, you don't care if someone's catching 100 fish to your one. That's where we really came up with that chasing Ohio Giants, because Junior always like, I don't care what you're throwing, I'm after one fish.
One fish.
There's only one fish in this pond I want to catch, and that's the one I'm chasing.
It's all about what's on your pole, man. You
Yep.
do what you're gonna do, and I got what's in this boat over here.
And that confidence that Crenshaw's talking about, yeah, we can tell you what lures we like and what gets it done for us. But honestly, if you're not confident in those lures, or if you have a go-to lure, you hear the pros talk about it all the time. Confidence is has a huge impact on bass fishing. Confidence is probably your best thing in your tackle box. I always say that. The best thing in your tackle box, no matter what bait it is the confidence that you have in that bait. So throw what you have confidence in, and honestly, it produces. 2023, man, I can't believe it. Ice is off the ponds right now. 2 weeks ago, they were frozen over. And usually I like to get out with coaching basketball, man. It's been rough. Every day I have something. I haven't been out yet. But I'm just patiently waiting, because I know in due time My jig's gonna be in that water.
For sure.
Just waiting on my moment.
Hey, that's it.
We got some new video action coming out too, targeting some other species, but you're gonna have to pay close attention.
Okay, hey, I get it, man.
We just don't chase bass, we chase all giants.
He said we chase all giants. He's down to Muskingum catching sucker fish. Get ready. A can of corn.
Can of corn.
Get that mud line out.
Yo, carp fly up nice.
Thinking back to your childhood, Junior, I know that you talk about your fish with your dad, your biggest. Is there any other moments that you can recall that sticks out to you, or Crenshaw, anything that sticks out to you that's a moment like you'll be 50 years old and be like, man, I'll never forget that day right there as far as fishing?
My worst day of fishing ever happened to be his best day of fishing. I broke off 5 over 5 and he caught 5 over 5. And one of the biggest ones we ever seen. I know we wasn't 10. I'll never forget that. I'll let him tell the story about his one I got away.
But the crazy thing is, we was in a little sportsmanship club, and we did like a little tag team fishing tournament. Everyone put in a little bit of cash and stuff. And me and Junior's teammates, as we always been, we're standing beside each other. Greggy makes 5 casts in a row, sets the hook, and his line snaps all 5 times.
That's because he's using that raggedy line.
No, I thought I was hooking pipe or something.
He's using that raggedy line. You can't get fishing string from Gabriel's and expect to catch giants.
But we're standing side by side. I catch 5 fish. 5 of some of the biggest fish I ever caught in my life. It was a nice carp.
Yeah, I'll definitely never forget that one, man. That's what it's about, is making memories with the people you love. That's why we do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it started.
People always be like, let's go fishing. Let's go. I mean, you're cool and all, dog, but I don't love you. I'm just kidding. I like taking strangers fishing, and don't come after me, stranger world, getting me kicked off YouTube, talking about me and stuff.
No, we just have, and every time that we're out, man, we get a laugh. That's what I love, too. We get a good laugh together, man.
Yeah, we definitely going to have to get together more.
No, we going to have to get me out at that pond. Y'all catching 10 over 5 pound. That's what we're going to have to do.
Yeah, I'd like to be out there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I remember this year, we're all fishing. Crenshaw's a heck of a fisherman. I'm a heck of a fisherman. We come through an area. He has his bait. I have my bait. We're getting ready to get out of pond. Junior comes through last. Now, he just hit it for 20 minutes. I hit it for 10 minutes. And I'm like, I'm cool. We're done. Greggy comes through. Throwing a different bait. I look over, he's like, oh, this is him. This is him. I'm like, what? He's like, this is him. You hear him in the video. Blue Rock Custom Tackle. Dog, it's a big one, Blue Rock Custom Tackle. And
sometimes you land in the right spot.
Yeah, and Crenshaw just fished it. I fished it, like I said, and he comes through and boom.
I was leaving it for him.
Yeah. I always tell people it don't matter who's fishing in front of you or where they're fishing at. You're never going to make the same exact cast twice. So don't be scared to go behind anybody fishing. As long as you're at least doing something different.
Yep. And again, man, I want to thank you guys for coming out. I definitely want to thank your fans and your followers. Also, my fans. It's picking up. The ball's rolling. I'm gaining some steam. But, hey, get out there. Share our videos, man. Like our videos. Share our videos. We're in Ohio catching giant bass. And a lot of things that I have received throughout 2022 was, man, you can't be in Ohio catching fish like that. And I'm like, well, I'm in Ohio. Southeastern Ohio. Like, I'm in Ohio, and they're like, man, like, I heard Mexico, you're down Florida. And I'm like, no.
That's a good problem to have.
I'm right here in the Buckeye State. So get out there and share our videos, because these are giant bass they are catching in the state of Ohio. Cold water months in all times of the year. I found out over the year that these giant fish bite, because when I was younger, I thought once it warms up, I'm going fishing. It wasn't until I got like 16, 17, I realized that, man, these fish have to eat at some point.
They don't get that big without eating.
Yeah, so then I started catching them in winter. Then there was a myth, when it's hot and humid and it's over 90 degrees, you're not going to catch fish. Fish aren't hungry. Junior and I'll tell you what it was, 2017, July 4th. 97 degrees. That's the hottest I ever been. What happened that day?
We had one of them days.
Yeah, we talk about memorable moments. If Craig was with us,
early,
I will never forget. And Craig will tell you to this day, I never in a million years thought I'd see Saw and Junior quit fishing early. We quit.
We was too hot.
My shirt was soaked, my pants were soaked, my boots were soaked. But I know I saw Junior pull out a 5. Then a little bit later he pulls out a 7. And I was like, it's 97 degrees. There was no wind. Like, the pond just looked like glass. And then I go down the bank a little later, and I'm like, Junior, I got him. It's a giant. And 2 7s and a 5, like 97 degrees. So these fish, these giant bass, do eat all year round.
Yeah.
Right about that.
They do eat.
Is there anything else that you guys want to share with the viewers out there?
No, just get out and enjoy yourself, man. Like Junior always says, it ain't always about catching fish either. It's just about being with people you love, doing what you love.
Creating those memories. Man, that's creating those memories. Because we're getting older. This is something we want to pass on to our kids or other family members. But as long as I can, I want to be out there chasing them. I joke with my daughter all the time, and I say, Breely, if something ever happens to me, you make sure if I'm in a wheelchair or whatever I got to do, you make sure you take me fishing. She's like, Dad, I promise. I'll get you out there, Dad. If something ever happens to you, I'm going to make sure I get you by the water. And I was like, that's my girl right there.
Yep, that's all you need. Fishing pole and a dream.
Yep, stay tuned for more videos over the winter. We're going to do some, and then we'll talk about inventory and how important it is over these next few weeks to get your inventory together, get your fishing line, hooks, all poles, reels cleaned up, because the season is here. We don't just wait until it gets warm. We start right now within the next few weeks getting on them.
Hopefully catch them too.
Yep. So I appreciate it. Once again, I appreciate you guys coming out, man. Thanks a lot for watching. Like and share.
Peace.